maybe the previous piece was also new. We were discussing in the previous discussion, on the top of the page was all about fasting when it's not connected with rain, fasting for the other types of plagues that are affecting the community. And Reb Ami seemed to hold that it's limited to 13 fasts. And the other opinion said, no, you keep on fasting. If you didn't get answered and the plague is still happening, then you still need to fast, and you should decree more fasts for the community. And it turns out that this is a machlokes of the Tanoim, because initially we tried to prove Reb Ami wrong, and the conclusion was it's a machlokes Tanoim, and the basis of that machlokes, of that argument, is what is the reason why we have 13 fasts for rain? If the reason is we limit it to 13 because people can't handle more, so then that rule applies to all cases. That would apply to other types of fasts as well. We can't handle more. You can't decree too much on the community. You can't expect people to fast more than 13. So if that is the let me just mute everyone. If that is the reason, then that applies the same to rain and to other plagues, and therefore you're limited to 13. And that was Reb Ami's opinion. But then there's the other way of looking at it, in that it's specifically connected to rain. And actually, I should clarify. Yesterday, I made it sound like the rain is going to ruin the crops. And that is correct when it rains after Nisan. But here, really, the Gemara is not discussing if it rained all the way after Nisan in the summer. We're really discussing if it rained after the 13 fasts. Now, when do those 13 fasts end? Well, it's basically Monday, Thursday, Monday. Then you have another Monday, Thursday, Monday. And then you have a Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, and a Monday. So it's a series of fasts. It takes approximately 2 months, and it would be basically from Cheshvan through Kislev, to a little over 2 months. Cheshvan through Kislev and Teves. So it would end at Teves. So it's not that it's bad, but the Yoira rains are completed already. There's no more purpose to fast after the end of those 13 fasts. It basically is over somewhere at the end of Teves, and the purpose of the rain is no longer there. So therefore, we only tell the congregation to fast 13 fasts. We only decree on the community 13 fasts, because after 13 fasts, if you calculate when it approximately starts in the middle of Cheshvan, we had different opinions when exactly it was in Cheshvan, but if you calculate all those 13 fasts, it ends when there's no more reason to have rain. Yoira is over. The Yoira rain and the Malkush rain. The Yoira rain is over. The Malkush rain never arrived yet, but there's no more reason to daven for rain, because the Yoira rain is not applicable anymore. So that's what the Gemara is saying, and that would apply only to rain. What about another plague? If there's another plague, of course you want to fast more to get rid of it. If there's no rain, what are you going to fast for? For it to rain? You need it to rain when there's not going to help anything? No. But a plague, you have a plague, you want to get rid of the plague? Of course we want to get rid of the plague. What do you mean? It's already Teves? Of course, even Teves, Shvat, Adar, we want to get rid of the plague whenever throughout the year. So then you would actually continue to fast. And that's the other opinion over here, which was Rabbi Abba, Bered Reb Chia bar Abba, and that Reb Chia bar Abba, Amar Reb Yochanan, Reb Chia bar Abba in the name of Reb Yochanan. That would apply. That in other words, the law about 13 only applies to rain. Doesn't apply to the other fast. The other fast you would fast, you continue fasting. So this is basically a machlekes Tanoim. It's an earlier argument of the Tanoim, and it based on what the reason of the 13 fasts are. And then the Gemara talked about the shaila that came in from Nineveh. And the shaila that came in from Nineveh was asked to Rebbe, and they wanted to know if they should ask for rain in a time when it's not meant for, when we normally don't ask for rain, like in the summer. But they need rain then. So they asked, so should we include it in our regular Shemona Esrei, in the regular place in the Shemona Esrei, where during the winter people ask for rain? Should we include it there in our summer? Or should we just slip it into the generic bracha called Shemei Tefillah and just add it in as a personal request? That was their question. And what did Rebbe answer? Rebbe answered, you should put it in, slip it in as a personal request in the Shemei Tefillah. Do not change your Shemona Esrei in the summer to be like where we do in the winter. That would be wrong. This is more of a personal request. It's the summer. You people need rain. You have your personal. It's not. It shouldn't be done in a way that's changing the format of the regular Shemona Esrei, because the format of the regular Shemona Esrei is meant that the winter you ask for rain, in the summer you don't ask for rain, and you are considered a individual in this scenario, even though it's a big city. Nineveh was considered an Ir Gedolah, maybe the biggest city, but it was not appropriate in the summer to change the Shemona Esrei. You're considered like an individual. Why that's so? Is that because the entire world is considered the majority, and you might be a big city, but we look at the world and you're considered an individual relative to the world? Or does it have to do with the format of the prayers, the way it was established, and therefore you should consider yourself a yachid? Seems like maybe you could see it in different ways what the exact reason is, why it should be that way. Now, we know that an individual in your private Shemona Esrei during the winter, you do say B'Sein Talmud. So it's not because individuals only say ask for rain in B'Sein Talmud, they ask for rain in Shemei Tefillah, and the Chazan asks for rain in the regular Shemona Esrei. That's not the meaning here. When it says we are like Yechidim, we are like individuals, it doesn't mean individuals in the winter who do ask for rain in the regular Shemona Esrei. Rather, what it means is that we are like individuals at a time when the general populace is not asking for rain. We are considered like individuals. So it basically has to do with the fact that the general public is not asking for rain at this time. So that was the reply. And now,
Rabbi,
yes,
this idea that you were saying before, that if the person didn't get an answer yet, you keep on asking.
Yeah.
Is that for an individual or for a community or for both?
Well, I mean, the concept of asking is obvious. Whatever you need, you ask for. We were talking about fasting. When it comes to fasting, so even if everyone needs it, there is room to say that it's too much. You can't decree on the congregation to do more than they can handle. It's almost like there's a concept by making a decree on the community that ein hatzibur yecholim lamed ba, that rabbis could establish decrees on the community, but if it doesn't take off because they can't handle it, if it never took off, then it's not a decree. The decree becomes null and void because people weren't able to handle it. We learned about that in the Masechta Brachos, where they wanted to make a decree that anyone that has marital relations needs to go to mikvah, or anyone that has an emission needs to go to mikvah before they daven and before they learn Torah. and basically that decree was not, people weren't able to handle it, or it didn't take off, and ultimately it got nullified. They annulled it. But this would be the concept here that we see that Rabbi Ami holds of, is that the reason why you only have 13 fasts for rain is because there's it's too much. You can't ask you can't decree on the community more than they can handle. And based on that, Rabbi Ami says that applies to other reasons as well, other types of plagues. We also will only do 13, you know. So that's, but when it comes to prayer, you could pray all you want. I mean, if the community, you need something, pray and pray. Yeah.
I was asking because when my wife and I were having trouble having a child after we were married for over 10 years, and I kept on asking the Rebbe, and at a certain point in time, I felt like guilty to ask every time, ask and ask. So I asked Rabbi Yossi Gansberg in Toronto, and he said, "You keep on asking until you get what you need. You just keep on asking."
I mean, that's
So
what davening is,
yeah. So I was just wondering if that was,
Right.
because I was bothering the Rebbe. He said, "Just keep on asking until you get what you need." So I thought maybe this was connected to that. You just keep on
Right.
asking.
Right. Right. No, it would seem to be different. We've been still asking for Mashiach for the last 2,000 years. We never
Right.
stopped. But yes, Mordechai.
Yeah, another example of a decree that was reversed is originally a mourner would be given 10 cups of wine, and then the Rabbanim added on a few more. And then when they found that the mourner wasn't able to handle the additional cups past 10, they reversed it and put it back to 10.
Uh-huh. Right, right. That's right. There is such a
I think it might say that in Moed Katan.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So now the Gemara is going to ask a question on Rebbe. Let me tell you where we're holding in the art scroll. 14b. 14b.
I'm on
14b1. No, 14b1.
End of
Bottom.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, bottom paragraph. 14b1. Again, Rebbe had just said that the community of Nineveh, if they want to ask for rain in the summer, they have to ask for rain in the bracha, the generic bracha of Shemea Tefillah. That's when they ask for rain. They should not ask for rain in the bracha, the bracha of produce, which is the normal place to ask for rain. They can't because they're like individuals. That was his reply. You could ask for rain, but ask for rain in the bracha of Shemea Tefillah, the generic bracha of listening to our prayers, where you could add in any personal request. The Gemara says Mesave, again 14b1, the bottom paragraph. Mesave, they asked a contradiction from a brisa. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said, Amosai, when is this so that the fast, the way Rashi learns this, is a machlokes how to translate this, but we're going to learn Rashi first, and then I'll do Rabbeinu Hananel. Rashi learns this. The Gemara is asking, when is this so that the fasts are as we, as we explained, the times and so on, and the 13 fasts. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amosai Bizman Shanim Kitiknon, when the years are running their regular course, Kitiknon, as they're used to, as they're meant to, and which Rashi says refers to the Katsir is in Nisan, harvest is in around April time, and planting is in Cheshvan, maybe October time. And when everything is running smoothly, then the rules of the public fasts kick in.
And Israel is it under land?
Next line.
Yeah.
Yisrael Shruyan Alad Masan. That's Ben's line. when the Jews are on their land, in their land, then all the order of the fasts, the 13 fasts that we spoke about, that all applies. Aval bezman hazeh, but in today's day, hakol afi hashanim, everything depends on the years. Hakol afi hamakoymos, everything depends on the place. And then there's a question about these last three words, hakol afi hazman, everything depends on the time. But basically, different places or different years might require, more rain. If it's very sunny, very hot, it's a very hot year, and hakol afi hamakam, depends on the place. Ninveh, think about that. Ninveh so when we're on our land, meaning when we're in the land of Israel, and everything was smooth, great. But when things are not, when the schedule is off, so basically you switch things around. And so the law of the fasts will actually, the dates of the fast will have to be manipulated according to what's needed. Now, the Gemara understands that to mean that same law should apply to asking for rain. In other words, the same law that applies to the fast days about rain should apply to when we request rain. That if we are changing the schedule of the Mishnah, because depending on the situation and the time and the needs of the place, and the year. So we should also switch it based on the place as well regarding asking for rain. So the Gemara is comparing fasting for rain and asking Hashem for rain in your prayer as if they're connected. And the Gemara sees this as a proof that in Nineveh, what should they really do? They should really ask for rain in the summer in the regular bracha where you normally ask for rain that talks about produce. And that would mean different than what Rebbe answered. Rebbe replied that no, you ask for rain only in your Shemea Tefillah bracha, and the generic bracha, asking Hashem for your personal needs. Gemara here seems to say that we do switch things around depending on the place and the time, the situation. So the Gemara answers, you're asking a question on Rebbe? Rebbe is a Tana. He's an author of Mishnayos. He compiled all the Mishnahs. And you're going to ask a question from a Brisa to Rebbe? Rebbe is his own opinion. You can't ask a question from another rabbi on him. Amar le masnisa ramas ali de Rebbe. You're asking a question on Rebbe from a Brisa, masnisa. You're putting a Brisa on top of and asking it on Rebbe. Rebbe Tanahu. Upala, Rebbe's a Tana. He argues with that Brisa. He has his own Brisa. He has his own Mishnah. He's the source. He's the source of his own book. So that's the Gemara's answer. The only thing is, it leaves us with a dilemma. So what do? Rebbe held one way, and the Brisa said in the opposite way. So the Gemara says, "My havi Allah." So what do we do? What should be regarding this matter? Rav Nachman says, "B'berchas hashanim." Rav Nachman seems to paskin like the Brisa. You say it in the bracha of the berachas hashanim. It's called bracha for the years that we ask for the produce. Everything should go smoothly in the produce. Rav Sheshes Amar b'Shemat Tefillah. Rav Sheshes paskin like Rebbe, and which is that you insert the prayer for rain in the Shemat Tefillah, the generic bracha of all your personal needs. And the Hilchas of Shemat Tefillah, the Gemara concludes that the halacha follows Shemaya, the Rebbe's opinion that it's in Shemea Tefillah. Now, the famous Rush that we did talk about, he really touches on this Gemara because he discussed traveling to where in Europe, where there were many countries that that needed rain in the summer, and Nineveh, which was more of a city, just a city. So what we see, at least the way the Rush wants to understand it, is what was the reason for Nineveh? Nineveh had to do with the fact that it's a city. It's a big city, but it's a city. Is it an entire country? No. But if there was a place that comprised of many countries, and or even maybe one country, if it's a big country or a few countries near each other, maybe that would be a different halacha. In other words, Nineveh, we're calling them yechidim. If we're calling them yechidim, Nineveh could be because it's only a city. So that's the way the Rush understands it, and he wanted to argue with the Rabbanim in this town that he had. We spoke about that he had come to a certain town and asked them about they asked for rain. Why don't you ask for rain now? And in the summer as well, they needed rain, and they said this we're not allowed to do. This we can't ask for rain. And so it was a famous discussion. There's a famous responsa from the Rush about this, and ultimately he wanted to argue on what the other Rabbanim were doing. He didn't in the end. He said he left it, but he initially felt that it's wrong. That really we should ask, and basically the way he's understanding this Gemara is that Nineveh is a city. So that really touches upon what I mentioned a few minutes ago. That why are we calling them yechidim? Are we calling them yechidim? They're individuals because it's not that it's not the time of the year, and so it's sort of like the Chachamim made a set rule. Is it because they're the majority of the world, or is it because they're yechidim, they're individuals because they're just a city? It seems like you could maybe based on this Gemara, you could possibly say it doesn't apply to other scenarios, because you could minimize this to be depending on what the reason is, what the understanding of the Gemara is. Yes, Ben.
I think what they're saying is they're not going to change the law for every city.
But what about if it's a country?
They would.
So that's what the Rush wanted to say, but the other Rabbanim didn't agree with him. That's what he came when he So it seems like this is maybe part of the debate of what is this excuse of Nineveh? What is this scenario? What is the ruling of Nineveh? Now, the next Gemara is B'Sheni Matim Im Chashecha. So the Mishnah, this is the Mishnah that it said that on these final fast days of the final 7 fast days. Remember, if you take a look back, the Mishnah that we had. We had the one Mishnah on Daf Yud Amud Aleph, and then we had another in the middle of Yud Amud Aleph. No, towards the end of Yud Amud Aleph, and then we had another Mishnah on Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis, and on Daf Yud Beis and 12b, the Mishnah over there said that you have the second set of 3 fasts, and the final set, the third set of the 7 fasts. And on those 7 fasts, what was more strict about the 7 fasts over the earlier 3 and the first 3 and the second 3? Why was the 7 more? So we said the 7 fasts were more strict with the Masriyan, which we spoke about, shofar. They blew the shofar. And Noyal and Asachanuyos, also that they would close the stores, but on Monday and Thursday towards evening, they would open it a little. Matin, they would open it a little. And then Thursday, they would open it for Shabbos. So that was the uniqueness of these 7 days, that it was more strict than the earlier fasts, was that they would close the stores on these 7 days, and they would only open it, at least on Monday, they would only open it towards evening. And even when they opened it, they would only open it a little, matin, partially open it. Now, the Mishnah made it a little unclear, it was a little vague regarding the Thursday rule. Thursday rule, it says kol hayom, the whole day, right? Thursday, it says it would be open. Chamishi, well, it doesn't even say all day. It just says mutarin, it's permissible for Shabbos. So what does the Mishnah mean when it says that? Does it mean that it's permissible to open the door completely and leave it open, fully open? Or does it mean that they would do what they did on Monday, but they would do that all day on Thursday? In other words, they would open the door partially, and that would be done all day. Monday was only done towards the evening. On Thursday, it was done the whole day.
Because they need stuff for Shabbat, I guess.
Yeah. But the question is, did they open the door fully on Thursday? Left it a little vague.